Before I get started, guys, go over and hit that bell, hit that subscribe button. Let's sort of bolster this channel and see if we can't get it to 100,000. You know, I'm a pretty generic guy. I've been doing it all on my own, and it's been a long road to hoe, I tell you. But I've enjoyed every step of the way, and I hope you have too. So if you have, it used to be 52% of the people that watch my channel weren't subscribers. Got 2,000 more subscribers. I got just under 100,000 subscribers, and now it's down to 50%. So, you know. Oh, and another thing, Kate Saw, thanks for the beer. I just finished it. Welcome back to the Gweilo 60 channel. Have to apologize for the noise. I'm right by a road, but that's not what this video is about. People that have lived in the Western world, and like. Before I get started, subscribe. Go subscribe. But before I get started, the Gweilo 60 channel isn't a shock and awe channel. You know, I talk about my experiences both in the West and in the East. East being China. But I see what everybody else sees. I see the violence in the West, and it's out of control. In some cities, like in Chicago, where the youth took over the downtown area of Chicago, you know, fighting with the police. I see the homeless cities, not just communities, homeless cities along the west coast of the United States and Canada. I see the rampant drug abuse in the Western world. I see people that can't afford to pay rent. I see the world sort of falling apart over there. I see all of this stuff, but I don't show you those clips on my channel. I have in the past, but lately I haven't. And the reason I don't do that is because you can go to other channels and you can see all of that mayhem and violence and just shit. But what my channel is more about is showing you what China is really like. It doesn't have the violence. It doesn't have the drug abuse. Because if you get caught with drugs here, you're going to jail. You get caught with too much drugs here, and you become a Robert Schellenberg. Yes, a Canadian that's been sentenced to death in China for trying to transport, I think, a half a ton of meth to Australia. You know, so the idea that it's different here. There are penalties, but you see, China's not the only country in Asia that has these strict rules. You go to Singapore, you get caught with drugs, you're gonna end up with the death penalty. Same thing with Vietnam, same thing with Indonesia, and same thing with Malaysia and stuff like that. So China's not any different. But I see the Western world falling down, making the wrong decisions. Their political system is beyond repair, as far as I can see. There's only one way for them to go, and that's further down and further down and further down until they change what they're doing, spending all of their money on military in the United States rather than schools, drug abuse programs, housing for the people that are living in tents, mental asylums for the people that are beyond control. When you get the violence that you do on the streets of the United States, and some places in Canada and the UK and whatever, but basically in the United States, it's a big problem. These people need to be put away. They, you know, to protect your family, you protect your grandmother, protect your children from violence, from gun violence, from assaults, from rapes, from all of these different things. You got to put these people away. Who gives a rat's ass why they're like they are? Who cares that they had a rough upbringing? Who cares that they've been a drug abuser for the last 20 years? Who cares about that? I know I don't. If that was my community and I was in charge of it as a politician, I'd say throw these fuckers in jail, and that's simple and easy. Rehabilitate their asses. If they can't be rehabilitated, leave them in there, and maybe changing the drug laws to be more like it is in the Eastern world here, because people are afraid to get caught. selling drugs in places like China. In the United States, slap on the wrist. Canada, it's legal in British Columbia. You know what I mean? So the idea that the world has changed back 100 years ago, China had an opioid problem, and that was the fault of the Western world selling opium to the Chinese people. And wars came out of it. But you all know all of that stuff. Now it's come full circle back to the United States, back to Canada, back to the UK. Yes, where the Queen used to be one of the biggest drug dealers in the world. Maybe, well, she's gone now, but maybe the monarchy is still into that stuff. I don't know. But the idea that now the Western world, that is only, you know, in its infancy as compared to the Chinese world, is learning the lesson that the Chinese, that the Indonesians and Malaysians learned hundreds of years ago. Now we're going through that as a society, as a sort of a new society as compared to what China is, and our politicians are doing exactly the opposite of what they should be doing. You shouldn't be legalizing marijuana. You shouldn't be legalizing cocaine and heroin. You shouldn't be legalizing you know, open and free drug abuse on the streets. You shouldn't be having free needles. You shouldn't be having places for people to go shoot up because it's safer for them to do it because they might OD. What you should do is you should snag these people off the street. You should put them in dry out centers. You should put them in psych centers and try to get them back to normal, because the way it's going right now, it's going to perpetuate itself. It's going to get worse and worse and worse until the whole society sort of falls to its knees. And it's because the politicians don't have the balls to stand up to the minority people that say, oh, these poor people, yes, you're a transvestite because you've been doing drugs all your life and your mind is pooched. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know whether you're a boy or a girl. Well, maybe you should stop listening to that transvestite teacher you got. You know, the whole world is a little bit strange. I'm a boomer, yes. I was brought up in the 60s and 70s, and we had it a certain way back then. But you know, we didn't lock our doors. We left the keys in our vehicles. We knew our neighbors. We weren't afraid to walk down the street. If there was bad people in our community, everybody knew who those bad people were, and there were very few numbers of those bad people. Nowadays, it's totally the opposite. There's only a few good people out there, and the rest are just frickin' off the wall. It's one of those things that you can't leave anything outside. Porch pirates will get it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different world here. I was walking into my apartment here the other day, and somebody had left their groceries sitting outside. Probably put them down when they put their bike away and forgot it, and just went home. I came down an hour later. Those groceries were still there, and people were walking in and out. Nobody's going to touch your stuff here. It's one of those things that it's just a different world, because the government has built a society, and the people, not just the government, because the government and the people are the same here in China, but they've built a society that's fair and safe for everybody in the country, and that's what I'd like to see start happening in a place like Canada and the United States. Get rid of the tent cities. Open up. They used to have psych centers across North America, where when people had drug abuse problems, had psychological problems, you know, were down on their luck. They couldn't take society anymore. There was a place for them to go to get help. Now there is no place for them to go to get help. You can't find a family doctor. The whole world has turned against these people and forgotten them. Here, that wouldn't happen. And it's sad to say that a country that is developing like China is a safer, better place to live now than the Western world is at this point. Back 20 years ago, I think it was different. 30 years ago, it was different. But 20 years ago, I think it was different. 10 years ago, I'm not sure. Now I know for sure it's not. So that's my rant for the day. Out here, boy, it's hotter than a $5 pistol again today, 35 degrees Celsius. And I'm still out here doing this stuff because I enjoy it. Letting you know what China's really like. And so there's my rant for the day. If you like this rant, as always, like, comment, subscribe, push that share button. Don't forget to resubscribe. Hit the bell, subscribe. Until next time, thanks for watching. Peace out. Bye now.